Rhea Ripley just confessed something that shook the entire WWE Universe to its core. What she revealed wasn't some throwaway comment or promo line, it was real. It was raw. And it was one of those rare behind-the-curtain moments where a top-tier WWE superstar strips away the makeup, the catchphrases, the spotlight, and just speaks. What she said could change the way fans see her forever. Because for a woman who now carries herself like a monster in the ring, there was a time, very early in her WWE career, where she felt like she didn't belong at all. In fact, she nearly walked away from wrestling completely. It wasn't injuries or creative frustrations that broke her down. It was doubt. It was insecurity. It was the quiet realization that even when she gave everything she had, she was still invisible. Before the nightmare became a nightmare for the women's division, Rhea Ripley was unrecognizable. Blonde hair, a gentle demeanor, a hopeful aura that made her seem like just another rookie trying to fit in. WWE's system is built on loud personalities, confidence, and standing out, and Rhea, back then, was doing everything she could to blend in. She thought that playing it safe and staying quiet would get her noticed, but instead, she was overlooked, forgotten, passed over, and it cut her deeply. She recently shared in an emotional interview with Stephanie McMahon on Stephanie's Places that her early days in WWE were filled with fear. She felt like a shadow. She didn't even recognize herself. The first Mae Young Classic was supposed to be her breakout moment, but instead it pushed her to the brink. She wasn't just anxious, she was completely paralyzed by fear, terrified of failing. And the criticism? It came fast and harsh. Little comments, quiet snickers, people backstage who weren't sure she had it, people online who questioned why she was even there. And slowly, all that noise started to echo in her head. She started to believe the worst things people were saying about her. She admitted she even wanted to move back to Australia. She wanted to quit. That's how bad it got. She was willing to walk away from her dream, just to find peace. But there's something that separates Rhea Ripley from most people. When everything crumbled, she didn't run. She sat with herself. She got uncomfortable. She stripped everything down and had a brutally honest conversation. You need to do better, she told herself. You need to prove people wrong. You need to prove yourself wrong. And in that moment, she chose to stop hiding. Literally, she said her long blonde hair was like a shield, something she used to hide behind when she was embarrassed. When she got nervous, it was her safety blanket, so she got rid of it. She cut it all off, changed her look, changed her mindset, and gave birth to the version of herself we now know as the Nightmare. But it wasn't just a haircut, it was a full transformation, a total identity shift. She embraced the dark side of herself, the part that always felt different, the part that liked tattoos, hard rock, piercings, combat boots, and screaming lyrics into the mirror. She found herself through music, through pain, through confrontation. She mentioned in that same interview that bands like Papa Roach, Motionless in White, and Of Mice Men shaped who she is. It wasn't just the music, it was the way those artists looked, the way they carried themselves. They had intensity, they had grit, but behind the black eyeliner and aggressive lyrics were people with real hearts, real empathy. Rhea said that inspired her. She didn't want to be just a scary character, she wanted to be real, someone who looked intimidating but had depth, someone who made people feel something. And just like that, she flipped the script. The woman who was once ignored became someone you couldn't ignore. WWE saw it, the fans saw it, and by the time she aligned with the Judgment Day, her entire aura had changed. She became a menace, a force, a villain you loved to hate, and then, someone you just couldn't hate at all. With Dominic Mysterio by her side, the act was unstoppable. Rhea didn't just look the part, she owned it. She bullied opponents, took no prisoners, played mind games, and people ate it up. Her rise was no longer about proving people wrong, it became about proving herself right. Fast forward to 2023, and Rhea was on top of the world. She won the Royal Rumble. She defeated Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania in a match that stole the weekend. She had the championship, the credibility, the momentum, and even as a heel, the crowd couldn't help but respect her. There was something magnetic about her presence, something raw and authentic. She wasn't trying to play a character anymore. She was just being Rhea Ripley, and fans connected with it. Even when she was beating their favorites, they were still cheering, something WWE couldn't ignore any longer. So in 2024, the shift began. Slowly, Rhea turned face, and the moment that solidified it was Elimination Chamber live in Australia, her home turf. The pop she received that night? Unreal. You could feel the pride, the emotion, the full circle moment. The girl who once wanted to leave WWE and go back home was now the pride of her country. Her matches were electric. Her promos hit differently. Her segments became must-see. And yet, Even with all this momentum, something still didn't sit right. Enter WrestleMania 41, the biggest stage, the brightest lights, and the most complicated storyline she's ever been a part of. Rhea Ripley is now set to defend her title in a triple threat match against Io Sky and Bianca Belair. All three are babyfaces. All three are crowd favorites. So, where's the conflict? Who's the villain? Who's going to play the heel? WWE has built this match with talent and star power, but they haven't built it with emotion. And that's where things start to get messy, because as of right now, no one knows what story this match is telling, and the build has felt confusing. That's where Rhea's recent shift becomes interesting. Over the past few weeks, there's been a noticeable change. She's getting a little colder, a little rougher. She's not smiling as much, not pandering to the crowd. There's more menace in her voice, more venom in her words. Is this a subtle heel turn? Is she about to betray the fans again? Or is this just the nightmare sharpening her edge before war? WWE hasn't made it clear, but fans are definitely picking up on it, and speculation is running wild. Some think this match is the perfect setup for a swerve. That mid-match, Rhea might snap, lay out both opponents with a chair, sheet to win, or maybe lose. Maybe WWE pulls the rug out from under her and has her drop the belt in shocking fashion. Maybe that's what sends her back into darkness. Maybe she disappears after Mania and returns even darker, more twisted. Or maybe, just maybe, this is all part of a long-term plan to turn Bianca or Io heel instead. The truth is, no one knows. And that mystery is what makes this story so dangerous and so exciting. Because for Rhea Ripley, everything always comes back to evolution. She's never been one thing for too long. When people tried to box her in, she broke out. When fans turned on her, she flipped the script. When her character started to get too soft, she added fire. And that's what makes her special. She adapts. She grows. She evolves with the audience. And that's rare. That's what separates her from the pack. She's not just a great wrestler. She's a master of identity. She knows when it's time to change, and she doesn't wait for permission to do it. And that's why this WrestleMania match is more than just a title defense. It's a crossroads. Rhea Ripley is standing on the edge of reinvention. Again, does she go darker? Does she go rogue? Or does she prove that she can stay a babyface and still dominate? It's a test, not just of her skill, but of her character's longevity. Because the fans love her now, but wrestling fans are fickle. They want layers. They want turns. They want moments. And if Rhea doesn't deliver one at WrestleMania, someone else will. And she knows that. What happens on that night could redefine her entire next chapter. If she walks out champion, she'll need new enemies, new stakes, new purpose. If she loses, well, that opens the door for revenge, for betrayal, for chaos. The kind of chaos she was built for. And deep down, fans are rooting for that version of her to come back. The version that made them gasp. The version that broke rules. The version that scared even her own allies. Because no matter how much the fans love Rhea Ripley, they didn't fall in love with her because she was nice. They fell in love with her because she was real. Because she was broken and bold and fearless enough to put herself back together. Her story isn't one of perfection, it's one of transformation. Of becoming. Of surviving in an industry that almost swallowed her whole. And now she's one match away from showing the world just how far she's come and how far she's willing to go. So here's the question. When the lights hit at WrestleMania 41, who walks out of that ring? The champion? The traitor? The legend? Or someone we've never seen before? Because the real nightmare isn't who stands across from Rhea Ripley. It's what happens when she chooses to unleash the storm inside her. And when she does, no one, and not Bianca, not IYO, not even the fans, will be ready.